Hi, this is Hardball Retro. Welcome to the Retrodome. This video is a companion to a series of articles on my hardballretro.com website. The main article is located under the Retro Replays category and is titled Hardball Retro Replays, Sim Seasons with Original and Actual Half-Decade Rosters. The original rosters are based on the research from my book Hardball Retrospective, where I assigned every Major League ball player to the first team that signed them to a professional MLB contract. Each player remains on their assigned original team for the duration of their careers. I take the top 40 players for each roster based on win shares, using each player's best season in a 5-year period. I run the simulation for at least 10 seasons in each half-decade. The team with the highest victory total during a given season receives 1 point. If 2 or more teams tie for the lead, each receives a half point. The team with the most points after 10 seasons is declared the winner. However, if no team led or tied for the lead in at least 4 out of 10 seasons, the simulation continues until one team reaches that criteria. The main article includes a full explanation of my methodology, along with links for each replay's recap and season-by-season results. Okay, so let's dive right on in here. We're looking at the 1980 through 1984 Hardball Retro Originals, the season replay, and we're going to start with season 1. So you can see in the upper corner here I have 8001, and that's my indicator for the that's how I track what season we're on. So we will see 8001 for season 1, 8002, and so on. And we played 10 seasons, and it's the first, actually it's the team with the most points is the winner after 10 seasons, unless there's a tie. Then we continue on until the tie is broken. Points are assigned by the most wins in a given year. So for taking a look here, we have the Royals with 105 victories, clearly the top team in the first season here. We are using Digital Diamond Baseball version 11.2.9. I believe version 12 is due out in March of 2024, so at some point in this series, we'll probably migrate over to that. But in the meantime, I've run multiple seasons for my originals series here. And just to briefly recap, if people aren't familiar with the originals, I have the originals and the actuals. The actuals is just the actual the players on the actual teams that they played on. The originals is basically I place the players back on the first team that they signed a professional contract with, and they basically get pinned to that team for the duration of their careers. So, if you're thinking like Reggie Jackson will always be playing for the Athletics. Tom Seaver will always be on the Mets, even though he was on the Reds and the White Sox and the Red Sox, so forth. So that's how that works, and you'll see that as we're going through the leaderboards here. So we're looking at the standings from season 1, again 1980 through 84. I'm doing a half-decade chunks for each, and basically taking the top 40 players based on win shares. So for each roster. Occasionally you'll see a fill-in player. They're designated with a plus sign at the end of their name. That would be, in the most case, probably these teams that are finishing in the bottom half. Usually they came up short as far as maybe a second catcher or middle infielder or something. Oh, and for the active roster, the 25-man roster, uh, I have a criteria where every player needs to have at least 5 win shares. So that's where you'll see some fill-ins. I just take players that didn't make the other team's 40-man roster and use them to fill out some of these other rosters. So I'll try to point that out again later when we see somebody with a plus sign, that that's not their original team, most likely. Okay, so let's take a look here at the standings. We've got the Red Sox with a single game lead over the Orioles. Red Sox with a plus 166 run differential. Not too bad. And it looks like the Orioles lost their last 6 games, which dropped them out of first place. Royals pretty dominant here, although the A's did have 99 wins. 239 run diff. Pretty stout team here. And when we see the leaderboards, you'll probably pick up on some familiar names. Obviously George Brett, but a number of other players that contributed here. I'm sure Willie Wilson. Yeah, we'll go through and see who they had. Twins also above 500. I forgot to mention over here, Yankees and Tigers above 500, and the Indians played 500 ball. So National League, we've got the Phillies, 3-game margin over the Cardinals. Obviously Mike Schmidt. Let's see here, Mets 89 victories. Everybody else below 500 in the National League East. And we have the Astros with a 3-game margin over the Reds. And everybody else below 500 in the NL West. So let's take a look at the batting leaders. We got batting average, George Brett. There he is, 378. Clearly head and shoulders above the other folks here. Wade Boggs, Kirby Puckett, Alan Trammell, Rick Peters, and let's see. Okay, Rick Peters, obviously kind of a surprise there, but everybody else you would expect. Home runs, we've got Pedro Guerrero, Gorman Thomas, Ken Phelps. I guess the Royals gave Phelps full amount of playing time there, I'm assuming. Steve Balboni, Yankees. And then Ogilvy on the Red Sox. So as you can see, the originals, right? Pedro Guerrero, Indians. Let's see over here in the RBI column if anybody. Okay, Bobby Grich, Orioles, right? And obviously playing with the Angels in the 80s here, but he's tied to the Orioles for the purposes of this replay. Brett barely over Jim Rice in RBIs. Cal Ripken 132. Guerrero 130. Grich 129. So we've got the NL leaders. Tony Gwynn at 378. Gary Templeton 351. We've got Miguel Dion, Mike Easler, Pete Rose. Let's see, anything interesting here? Yeah, Easler, Astros. Schmitty, 41 homers, leading the league over George Foster, Dave Kingman, Ron Kittle, Dodgers. I don't know if a lot of folks realize that he was originally Dodgers minor leaguer. And Dale Murphy with the Braves, 34. NL batting, we've got George Foster, Dave Kingman, Tony Armas, Pirates, Gary Carter, and Hal McRae with the Reds. Okay, AL pitching. Steve McCatty over Bert Blyleven, Len Barker, Mike Norris, and Roger Clemens. So McCatty is the ERA leader and also the win leader with 22 over his teammate Mike Norris. And then rounding out the top 5, we have Britt Burns, Dick Drago, and Lamar Hoyt. Save leaders, Dan Quisenberry, not a surprise. Dave Righetti with the Rangers. Rollie Fingers, Bob Stanley, Sammy Stewart. And over in the National League, this is kind of a shocker. Jeff Heathcock, 1.65 ERA, 20 victories. Again, these are going to pop up from time to time. I think what happens here is just that the Astros don't have enough starting pitching. So Heathcock ends up in the rotation, even though he only had a handful of starts, whatever season his stats are from. So he will pop up from time to time here. You know, you'll get guys like here, Mike Prowley. But for me, that keeps things interesting. It's not always, you know, Doc Gooden and Tom Seaver and so forth, right? I like it when the leaderboard is shaken up a little bit. All right, so we have Heathcock, Gooden, Steve Rogers, Joe Niekro of the Cubs. So, and then Dennis Lamp. So Cubs back to back in the ERA list. Jeff Heathcock with 20 victories. And then we've got Larry Christensen, Dennis Lamp, Mike Prowley, Jay Howe on the Reds, Willie Hernandez on the Phillies, 41 saves. That's using his, we'll see this in a bit, but that's using his 84 season. MVP year with the Tigers. Tom Hume, Dale Murray, Tom Bergmeyer, Doug McGraw. We have the award winners. We have George Brett over Pedro Guerrero, Cal Ripken, Cecil Cooper, Jim Rice. AL Cy Young, McCatty gets it over Norris, Clemens, Burns, and Hoyt. Over in the National League, we have the NL MVP, George Foster, over Hal McRae, Dave Kingman, Mike Schmidt, Dale Murphy. And the NL Cy Young, Heathcock is the clear winner over Lamp, Christensen, Prowley, Jay Howe. And we're not going down into the who's hot, who's not section. What I do want to show you is we will now look in the reports section. And we're going to do special events. And as I mentioned in the other videos, just be patient. This is churning through all of the various box scores from this particular replay. So it does take probably between 30 to maybe 30, 45 seconds, somewhere in that range, to load all this information. And then we'll look at events such as you know, we're looking for like a 4-homer game or no hitters, things of that nature. And this does have a number of things that I'm not totally interested in, like teams, total runs scored, team, you know, team left on base, games that lasted so many innings, that type of thing. Okay, we're going to scroll past all this stuff here. Team errors, don't care. Left on base, don't care. Double plays. Now, I'm not going to click into these, but I do like to just see the triple plays. So there's 7 of them. special events home runs, and I usually just look for a 4-homer game because there's usually a number of 3-homer games. Just mostly the usual suspects, but if there's somebody that's really of interest, I like to take a look at that. Warner, Phillips, Jackson, Landreaux, Thomas, Guerrero, Carter, Anderson. And something I am noticing here is that I don't have the year appended to the name. I'll take care of that in a second. So you'll see like Cooper-80. So we know which year we pulled the statistics from for each given player. Here's a fill-in guy, right? Jurak with a plus sign. That's RBIs, we don't care. Runs scored. All right, shows stolen base events. Ricky Henderson steals 3 bags. Tony Bernazard steals 3 bags. Okay, errors. Cycle, I don't click into the individual boxes, but just that we had 6 cycles that year and who hit for cycle. In the park homers, again, more than 10 of them, looks like. Ks, I generally look for like an 18, 19, 20 K game. I don't see any here. No hitters, so we'll click into these. Ed Whitson throws a no-hitter against the Dodgers, and Mike Norris throws a no-hitter against Rangers. So you highlight the date, click on it. It should bring up the box score here for Eddie Lee Whitson. No hits, no runs, 5 Ks, no walks. That sounds like it could be a perfect game. Let's see. Newspaper box. So Armas hit Armas homered, knocked in 3. And the Dodgers, I would say that was not a perfect game because I do see a couple guys with 4 at-bats. And if I scroll back up, the Pirates did have 2 errors, so there you go. So not a perfect game, but a no-hitter nonetheless for Ed Whitson. We can go to the scorecard or the play-by-play, but we could see, there we go. Second batter of the game reached on an error. And then Dan Billardello reached on an error there. So that's that. Let's see this one. Mike Norris, no-hitter. On the scorecard again. Let's go back to game summary. No hits, no runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks. Newspaper. He's 6-0. Homer from Darrell Evans. And the Rangers didn't do a whole lot, did they? Not a terrible lineup. They're all pretty much regulars. There's no fill-ins here. Okay. And that brought Mike Norris to 20-8 record. So you can look at the extended box. Okay. All right, so let's get out of this. I'm going to fix the appending the date to the player name. That's in here. Library options. Show, I think it's here. Miscellaneous. Add year to player name. True. Okay. And I'm going to be loading in a new library here for season 2, so let's see if that sticks. Open a different library. Restore. From backup. Season 80.002. Overwrite. Yes. The appending of the year, obviously, if you're playing a year where, um, like you're playing the 1984 season, well, you know that everybody's from 1984, so it doesn't matter. But for this, these players could come from any of the 80, 81, 82, 83, or 84. So that's why I like the feature to append the last two digits of the year to the player name. So if I go into, well, let's just make sure that's still turned on here. It's not, so I might have to do that for each one. That's fine. So true. And now if I go into season overview, I should see those years appended here. All right, let's look at the standings here. Royals, another 105 win season. We do see 8002 up here. Tigers, 100. Yeah, looks like the Royals again claimed season 2 here, so they're off to a roaring start. Let's start in the East here. Tigers, 100 wins. Nice run differential for the Tigers and the Red Sox. The Orioles slipped to third. Indians 500 ball again, if I remember correctly from the previous year. Over in the West, 105 victories for KC with almost a 200 run differential. And Rangers coming in second here. A bit of a surprise over the A's. And everybody else below 500. My Angels are off to a miserable start. Cardinals, 96 wins, 9-game lead over Pittsburgh. Everybody else below 500. Decent run differential for the Cards. And the Dodgers by 10 games over the Braves. And we do have a couple other teams over 500 here, the Astros and the Reds. So the West played a little bit better this year. And all of those guys, except for the Braves, with at least 100 run differential. Blue Jays lost 100 games. All right, let's take a look at the leaders. And yes, now we have the number appended here. I'll just have to remember to do that. Apparently I didn't set up this particular library to do that. So George Brett, 394, just misses the 400 mark. And again, not a super shocker here. He is using his 1980 season in which he batted 390. So that seems like, right on the money. Wondering in these 10 seasons if he did reach the 400 mark in any of them, because probably a couple hits in the positive direction would put him over the top here. So Bert Campaneris as a fill-in for the White Sox, and very late in his career, I think that was his final season, with a 344 average. Rod Carew of the Twins, 334. Phil Bradley and Wade Boggs. So Campaneris is definitely interesting there, but that's good to see. Reggie, 52 and 152. So Reggie just a killer season here, and followed by Ben Ogilvy with 52. So they tied for the home run lead, and Ogilvy 4 RBIs behind him. Jim Rice, third in homers and RBIs, 39 and 145, nothing to sneeze at there. All right, this one's interesting. Hector Cruz, another fill-in for the White Sox. So they obviously had some issues filling out a roster. And I don't recall where they finished, but actually 76 and 86, not too bad. Back to where I was here. John Lowenstein, 35. And who did I miss over here? Brett with 139 ribbies, and Lance Parrish, 124. I think it's Lowenstein. Anyway, Tony Gwynn. And you will notice that I use senior, junior, middle initials, so forth, just to be pretty clear as to who the player is. Okay, Gwynn over Miguel Dion, Bill Buckner, Pete Rose, and Mike Easler. So that was pretty similar to the previous season, except for I think Buckner wasn't there. Schmitty, home runs, not a surprise. Dave Kingman, not a surprise. Murphy, Armas, and bench. And if you're wondering, like, oh, how come you chose Tony Armas's 1980 season versus his 1984 season, or just for example, basically it's their best season of the five in any given half decade. So best season based on win shares. Dave Kingman, Dale Murphy, Kevin McReynolds makes an appearance with the Padres, and Andre Thornton of the Phillies. Wrap up the top five in RBIs there. AL pitching ERA, Vern Rule. Interesting, 2.27, the ERA leader for the Tigers. Then we have Bud Black of the Mariners. Ken Howell, fill-in for the Jays, 2.47. Dave Stieb, Jays, 2.59. So, believe the Jays lost 100 games, so somehow I'm guessing it was offensive struggles more than anything here, because it looks like they've got at least some decent pitching here. Roger Erickson making an appearance on the AL ERA leaders. Don Ossie for the Red Sox, 20 victories. Rick Lysander. So again, looking at this leaderboard, okay, Petrie, yep, I would expect him to pop up here and there. Saberhagen, obviously, but seeing guys like Ossie, Lysander, Tommy Boggs, I don't know. For me, it makes things interesting. Not to see the same five or 10 guys every time. Okay, saves. Got Quisenberry, 48. Dave Tobick, Tigers, 43. Raleigh Fingers, Rich Gossage, and Sid Monge with 33. NL pitching, here we go. Marty Bystrom, fill-in for the Astros, 217. Steve Rogers, 222. Jay Howell, 223, making another appearance. Doyle Alexander for the Dodgers, 224. And Ron Reed, 251 for the Braves. And Reed, topping the leaderboard in victories of 19 over Doyle Alexander, Jose De Leon, Marty Bystrom, Steve Carlton. Dan Spillner, save leader, 41 for the Padres over Bill Caudle of the Cardinals. Tug McGraw, Tom Niedenfuhr, Gary Lavelle. MVP, we got George Brett just edging Reggie Jackson 411 to 406. Ben Ogilvy strong with 379. Jim Rice, Dwight Evans. Cy Young, Dan Petrie takes it over Ossie, Lysander, Boggs, and Danny Darwin. NL MVP, we've got Mike Schmidt over Murphy, Kittle, Armas, and Bronze. And NL Cy, we've got Reed, Alexander, De Leon, Bystrom, Carlton. We'll look at the special events now for Season 2. Reports, special events. So you will see, obviously, there are going to be, when you run 10 seasons worth of anything, you will start to see some patterns as far as, what teams are bubbling up to the top and consistently with a plus 150 or a plus 200 run differential, what teams are consistently at the bottom. There will be certain players that are at or near the top of the leaderboards a lot of the time. But there's enough randomness. I do have the game set to do a little bit of randomness as far as injuries are concerned. I don't want the injuries to overwhelm, but I do want them to for the computer to have to dip into the reserves a bit, shake things up in that respect. So let's go down a bit here. See if anything catches my eye. Double plays, triple plays, 11 or 12 triple plays there. Homers, anything? These are all threes. Downing, Ogilvy, Bill Schroeder, Dwight Evans, Jason Thompson, I believe, Benedict, Armas, Infield, Schmidt, Rice. Okay. Hayes with 6 hits, McKay with 6 hits. Okay. Unscored steals, number of guys with 3 steals. Willie Wilson, 4 steals. Cycle. Gibson and Murphy hitting for the cycle. In the park, 4 in the park homers. Strikeouts, 14. 14 looks like the high here. We're not going to dive into any of those. Complete games. So if this is complete games, that means there were no hitters, it looks like. Yeah. All right, we're going to break out of this. And let's go to Season 3. Restore. Season 3. Okay. So when I run these, I have the manager profile configured, batters versus righty versus lefty, starting rotation, spot starters, bullpen, closer, setup, middle relief, and long relief. I set the schedule, go into schedule editor, you can do set the year to 8001, 8002, and so forth, just so I can differentiate which season I'm on. While I'm doing this, I'm just going to turn on my add year to last name. Okay. So then I run play scheduled game. I run the season to the end. When it's all done, I do a backup. And I go down to Encyclopedia and I add the current season stats to the encyclopedia, make a backup of everything, and then I check the standings. And then repeat. You do restart the season. It wipes out the stats, and then I do it all again. So let's go to season overview. Okay, we are on season 3 here. 102 victories looks like the top. So the Royals have 3 points. As I mentioned, the leader in wins gets a point for each season. So the Royals are at 3 points already. Clearly the cream of the crop at this point. And we'll see if anybody can mount any type of challenge here. Okay, let's see. Who do we got? Brewers, 4 games over the Tigers. Orioles and Red Sox just over 500. Indians just over 500. Pretty evenly matched division here, I would say, other than the Jays, obviously struggling down there, 98 losses. We got the Mariners with 105 losses here. The Royals 102, but the A's were strong again with 99 wins. They just couldn't quite match the Royals' firepower. 229 run diff, pretty sweet. The Rangers, and hey, my Angels got to 500 with a -1 run diff. That's as about 500 as you can get, I would say. Cardinals pretty much blew away the East here by 15 games over the Mets. And the Dodgers with just a 1-game margin over the Braves. The Braves made it close with a couple wins at the end. Came up 1 game short. Astros over 500, Reds over 500, and the Padres 103 losses. Not good. All right, let's check our leaderboard. Brett down to 368, but still enough to claim the batting title. George Hendrick, 353 for the A's. Wade Boggs, 348. Willie Wilson, 348. Buddy Bell, 339. Wow, look at that. Bobby Grich, his 81 season, which he was tied for the home run lead that year. But he clubs 59 in this particular replay. So, heck of a year for Mr. Grich. Extremely underrated as far as the Hall of Fame vote was concerned. And, amazing fielder. Had some really good years for the Orioles and the Angels there, but he's still on the outside looking in as far as the Hall is concerned. Gorman Thomas, 50. He was definitely a thumper for the Harvey Wallbangers back in that season, 82. Ken Phelps coming through again, 48 round trippers. Jim Rice, 44. Robin Yount makes an appearance here, 43. That's power-wise probably a little bit above his pay grade, but nice to see. RBIs, Thomas with 4 RBI advantage over Grich. Ken Phelps third, Jim Rice, Robin Yount. So take a look at the NL. Miguel Dion, 359 average over Leon Durham, Cardinals. Tony Gwynn, 332. Tom Paciorek of the Dodgers, 330. And Mike Easler, 327. Michael Jack Schmidt, 57 bombs. Pretty impressive. And 152 RBIs. Dave Kingman, 39. Armas, Kittle, Foster. We've seen all these folks on the leaderboard previously. Ted Simmons, though, making an appearance with 130 RBI. Second to Schmidt. Then you've got Foster, Terry Kennedy making an appearance here with 117. And Gary Carter. NL pitching. Okay, Bert Blyleven, so there's somebody I would expect to see up there. Sammy Stewart might have had some starting. I'm not sure or if that's a lot of just long relief. Tommy John with a 2.7 ERA for the Indians. Britt Burns, 301. And Ross Bumgarten, 306. Again, another probably did not expect to see his name pop up there. Mike Norris, Dave Beard, did not expect to see him. He might have been one of those spot starter long relief guys. Maybe he got forced into the rotation on an injury. I'd have to check that out. But nevertheless, he came through with 19 wins for the A's, part of their 99 victory season. Danny Darwin, Rangers, 18 wins. Don Ossie again, 17. And Moose Haas, 16. Let's see here. Quisenberry over Stanley, Fingers. Enrique Romo of the Mariners, 34. Jesse Orosco of the Twins, 32. And LERA, we got another Jeff Heathcock, 172. So obviously taking advantage of his slot in the Astros. I'm guessing he was in the rotation if he had enough innings to qualify here. Bob Welch, 213. Roy Lee Jackson, 217. These guys might be pitching a little bit of long relief too. I'd have to look. Joe Niekro, Steve Carlton. And in wins, we've got Mike Proley again, 17. Let's see. Hershiser, Reggie Cleveland, 14 wins. Dennis Lamb, David Palmer. All right, there we go. Save leaders, Bruce Sutter, Tom Niedenfuhr, Rick Camp, Doug McGraw, Gary Lavelle. AL MVP, Robin Yount takes it over teammate Gorman Thomas, Bobby Grich third. So those 59 jacks were not enough to claim the MVP, apparently. Rice, Brett. Then we've got AL Cy. We've got Norris over Beard. Saberhagen, Dave J. Schmidt, and Don Ossie. NL MVP, we've got Schmitty, clear leader over Murphy, Raines, Simmons, and Sandberg. So Raines and Sandberg we haven't seen on the leaderboard yet. I'm sure they'll pop up there at some point. And Mike Prowley, NL Cy Young over Hershiser, Reed, Lamp, and Palmer. Let's take a look at the special events page. Here. Let this crank for a minute. Maybe less than a minute. I don't know. I haven't sat here with a stopwatch, but this run. So you got to think that the Royals 1980 to 84, based on the players that they signed through the years leading up to that point. Obviously, the dominant team here. But we'll see if anybody can mount a challenge. There's still 7 more seasons to go. So, seen stranger things happen. And we're going to scroll past all of this stuff. Left on base, not really interested. Double plays. Triple plays. Oh, a lot of triple plays here. I'm not even going to count them up, but there were a lot. Homers. No 4-homer games. Anybody interesting? That's a Larry Parrish. Willie Upshaw for the Yankees. Joe Ferguson as a fill-in. Couple of Reggie Jacksons. Al Bunbury, 6 hits. Stolen bases. Willie Wilson with 4 again. Three cycles. Mazzilli, Schmidt, McRae. 4 inside the park homers. K's 14. Yep. Look, 14 was the high there. Eric Shao throws a no-hitter. Let's dive into that one. It's the only one from this particular year. No-hitter for Shao. 1 walk. 4 Ks. No hits the Giants. Let's check out their order. A little bit, I mean, the middle of the order is fine. Dave Cash was a fill-in. Bill Allman with the homer and Ozzie Smith. Wow. Off. Gorman Heimuller. And Shao, 84 version of Eric Shao, gets the no-no. All right, that is a wrap on season 3. Let's go and take a look at season 4 here. Restore. 80004. Overwrite. Okay, let's do our little add the year thingy here. I guess I forgot to do that in this library. I'll have to fix that. Season overview. Okay, 94, 95, 99, 100. So the Cardinals get a point, and the Royals did not win their division this year. So it's good. Little variety again. Like to see that. Let's start in the American League East. Just double check. Yep, 8004 up here. So AL East, we've got the Orioles 8-game margin over the Red Sox. The Indians and the Yankees all finishing above 500. the Jays sink to a 110 loss season and a negative 335 run diff. That's pretty awful. Over in the American League West, we have the A's with a 3-game pad over the Royals, 180 run differential, pretty nice. Twins, pretty strong, tied for third with the Rangers. The Angels do finish above 500, so happy to see that. NL East, we have the Cardinals with their 100 victories, 163 run differential, 15-game lead over the Mets. Everybody else below 500. Cubbies, 105 loss season. Ouch. Not good. Dodgers, 99 wins, 4 games over the Reds. We got the Astros and the Giants above 500. And the Braves and Padres bringing up the rear. Padres avoid the 100 loss season, though. Let's take a look at the American League batting leaders. We've got Boggs with a 371 clip over Phil Bradley, Bill Madlock. First appearance by Madlock, Texas Rangers. Willie Wilson gets in there, 334, and Reggie Smith, 1980 version of Reggie Smith for the Twins, 328. All right, we've got Grich again, home run leaderboard and RBI leader, 49 and 131 this year. Ogilvy, second in both, 43 and 121. Finishing out the home run leaders, we got Ken Phelps again, strong, over 40. Jim Rice, Pedro Guerrero back in there. RBIs, Chet Lemon appearance with 118 for the A's. Guerrero and Gorman Thomas. NL batting, Tony Gwynn, 353, not a surprise. Pete Rose, 338. Leon Durham, 338. Mickey Rivers for the Braves, 329. Hal McRae, 327. Home run leaders, we got Bob Horner, 39. Andre Thornton, 38. Dave Kingman, Ron Kittle, Dale Murphy. RBIs, Hal McRae, 159 RBIs, pretty amazing. Ted Simmons again with the RBIs, 124, finishing second. Above Dale Murphy, Ron Kittle, Tony Armas. AL ERA leaders, we have Rudy May, 239. Enrique Romo, 248. Paul Mitchell, not a name I would have expected up there, with a 261. Dave Stieb, 291. Brett Saberhagen, 298. So here's Dave Beard again, 17 wins. Wayne Garland, 16. Rick Lysander, Buddy Black. Matt Keogh making an appearance with 15 wins for the A's. Save leaders, we have Bob Stanley with one save lead over Jesse Orosco. We have Dan Quisenberry, Ed Farmer making an appearance, and Romo with 34 saves. So he must have pitched a ton of innings if he got in the ERA leaders here. I forget if it's how I have that set up. If it's 100 innings or 162 innings, or we'd have to look at that. But excellent season either way. Here we go. Doc Gooden, 227. And this is his 84 season. Remember, we're 80 through 84. So, Joaquin Andujar, 1982 version, but pitching for the Reds, 231 ERA. Jay Howell of the Reds. Then we have Ron Reed of the Braves and Nolan Ryan of the Mets. The Mets, in this scenario, never traded Nolan Ryan, so he remains a Met for his entire career, which spanned, 24, 25 seasons? I think it was 24. I might be off by 1 or 2 there. Regardless, 270 ERA. Wins, Jay Howell, 23 victories. Steve Carlton, 18. So Carlton's been up here, but not super strong, I would say, right? I don't think he's cracked the 20 win mark yet. Crowley, Reed, Soto. Saves, Tom Bergmeyer, Astros, 41 saves, tied with Tom Niedenfuer of the Dodgers. Bill Caudle, Tom Hume, Dale Murray. And Bobby Grich does get his MVP award this year over Guerrero, Ogilvy, Dwight Evans, and Yount. AL Cy Young goes to Dave Beard and Rick Lysander, tied with 195 votes over Wayne Garland, Stan Bonson, Matt Keogh. NL MVP, McRae gets it, a pretty clear winner over Dale Murphy, Leon Durham, George Foster, Ted Simmons. And NL Cy Young, Jay Howell with his 23 victories, nabs the NL Cy Young by a clear margin over Carlton, Soto, Proley, and Reed. All right, let's take a look at special events for Season 4. Special. All right, so the Cardinals make things interesting here with a victory in Season 4. Only one win over the Dodgers, but they still get the point. So those two teams would match up in the '85 World Series. So you can clearly see, the not only the ability to scout and sign players, player development, it all kind of plays into this scenario, right? If you look at either of those teams' lineups, it's not a surprise that they're coming out on top in this replay. All right, let's scroll down a bit. Maybe a lot of left on base, double plays, scroll past that. Triple plays, wow, we got 5, 10, 15 triple plays on the season. That's a lot. I don't think I've ever seen that many. 3 homer games, we have Gary Ward, Willie Randolph, that's a shock. Jack Clark, Dale Murphy, Reggie Davis of the Mets. I believe that's Jody Davis. I'm not going to click into it and find out, though. Right, a couple guys with 6-hit games. Gwynn, Bishoric, Butler, and Rivers. Steals, a lot of guys with 3 steals. Hits per cycle, we've got 6 guys. Darryl Sconyers making the appearance here. Nice. What was this one? In the Park homers, 5 guys. K's, 14. J.R. Richard. No-nos. There we go. Bob Welch throws one against the Giants. Hey, weren't the Giants hit last time? No hits, no runs, 9 Ks, 1 walk. Let's see it. 1 walk was by, I'm going to say that's Dave Rader. Dave Rader, okay. LeMaster, Cash. Again, middle of the lineup, pretty solid. The rest of it, not so much. So if you look at the Dodgers with their 99 wins, right, this is a pretty decent lineup here, right? Like Marshall, Buckner, Kittle, Say, Garvey, Scioscia, Russell, Mitchell. Not outstanding, but pretty solid. At least I'd say pretty solid overall. A couple guys there not so great. Here's Welch. 9 innings, 9 Ks, no hits. All right, let's go to season number 5. Crack open the backup for season 5 here. We're closing in on the halfway point of this video. Hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. A lot of nostalgia for me because I started watching baseball in 83, 84 time frame. So a lot of these players I either saw on TV, saw a few games in person, started going to Yankee games in 84, I would say, and collected baseball cards from this era. So familiar with a lot of these players. All right, I'm gonna turn on the year thing. Okay, get out of that. Go to season overview. And let's see if the Royals can get to their 4th victory here. And they do. 104 for the Royals. Okay. Let's start over here in the East. So the Royals with 4 points. That's pretty incredible. Out of 5 years. 8005, just double checking. Red Sox, 3 games over the Orioles. Orioles, nice run differential here, but came up a little bit short. Yankees above 500. Everybody else below. Royals, 11 games over the A's, 211 run diff, pretty stout. Angels, 88 and 74. That might be their best record that I've seen so far, so proud of that one. But still 16 back at KC. NL East, we got a tie for first. Phillies and Cardinals. Expos and Mets and Pirates all above 500. Cubbies 101 losses. Padres 105 losses. Over here in the West, Reds clear winners over the Astros. 15 game margin and a 226 run differential. And that is the high mark for this particular year. Giants finished 500. AL batting, we've got George Brett 371, Marty Barrett making an appearance for the Sox with a 336. Donnie Baseball, first appearance in the batting leaders, kind of surprised, 329. George Hendrick and Phil Bradley we've seen before. Kenny Phelps takes the home run title with a 47 round trippers over Ben Ogilvy. Hector Cruz making another appearance here with 42 jacks. Reggie, 39. Alvin Davis, first appearance with 37. Reggie, the home run leader, RBI leader with 130. George Brett second with 124. Ben Ogilvy, 123. Ripken and Dewey Evans. NL, Miguel Dion, batting crown with 357. Mickey Rivers, Big Dave Winfield, first appearance with 330, tied with Tony Gwynn, and Mike Easler again, 323. Home run leader, Ron Kittle, 43, over Armas, Kingman, Schmidt, and Johnny Bench. RBIs, Tony Armas, Ted Simmons, Hal McRae, Kittle, Dusty Baker, I think that's his first appearance. 125 ribbies for the Braves. All right, AL pitching leader Steve Comer with a 224 over Britt Burns, Bert Blylev, and Mike Norris, and Mike Witt of the Angels with a 271 mark. That's his first appearance here. That's the year that he pitched the perfect game on the final day of the season, 1984. We've got Don Ossie again with 18. Mike Witt with 17 wins. Dave Beard, Bert Blylev, and Rich Dotson. So 2 Angels. That's why they were able to get up into the 88 win territory. Looks like. Stanley, 49 saves over Quisenberry. Cecilio Guante as a fill-in, 41 saves for the Jays. Nice job. Jesse Orosco, Raleigh Fingers. NL pitching, we've got Mario Soto taking the ERA title with a 2.32, below the marks of Marty Bystrom, Doc Gooden, Joaquin Andujar, and Steve Bedrosian. I've got Reggie Cleveland with 19 victories for the Cardinals. Larry Christensen, Fergie Jenkins with an appearance for the Phillies. 18 wins for Fergie. Steve Rogers, Steve Bedrosian. Save leaders, Tug McGraw, Dale Murray, tied with 42. Tom Hume, Gary Lavelle, Willie Hernandez. AL MVP, we've got, let's see, who we got here? George Brett, Dwight Evans, Reggie Jackson, Doug DeCinces, and Ben Ogilvie. So Brett is the barely over Evans. I just noticed the vote total there, pretty close. AL Cy Young, we've got Blyleven over Witt, Ossie, Dotson, and Saberhagen. And then NL MVP, Teddy Simmons takes it, Simba, over Ryne Sandberg, Hal McRae, Leon Durham, and Ken Griffey Sr. NL Cy Young, we've got Reggie Cleveland over Charlie Lee, Steve Rogers, Larry Christensen, Marty Bystrom. Okay, let's look at our special events from Season 5. Reports. Special events. I will eventually be sharing these libraries, so they will be available for download, probably through the Digital Diamond website. There's a section to download custom libraries, so probably share them out there soon. Let's see here. Scroll down. Scrolling. Double plays. Triple plays. Let's see here. 8 triple plays. Three homer games. Bill Bradley with 6 hits in a game. Cycle 1, 2, 3. Looks like 6 cycles here. Park homers, a lot of them. We're going to skip that. K's. 14 for Carlton. No-nos. Forsch of the Cardinals throws one. Let's check out the box score. No hit the Braves in a 1-0 victory. No hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Ted Simmons homered for the lone run of the game. And there's our Braves lineup. Actually, I would say that's a pretty decent lineup there, top to bottom. No issues with that. Wasn't a cheapie. There's Forsch's line. Larry McWilliams pitched a fine game, but took the loss. All right. We're through 5 seasons, folks. Let's get back to here. All righty. All right, we are continuing on here with season number 6. So let's bring that up. This folder here. There we go. Okay. So I went ahead and paused after completed season 5 there and adjusted the appending of the 2-digit year to the remainder of these, so I don't have to go in and do that, hopefully, for the rest. Here. So hopefully if I go to season overview, we've got the year appended and we can just dive right into these from here on out. But if you weren't aware of that feature, at least you know it now because I did it 5 times there for you. Alrighty, here's our, we're up to season 6 here. We've got the A's. Looks like the A's 106 victories are the top dog this particular season, so they get a point. We've got over in the AL East, the Red Sox with a commanding lead over the Orioles. And an excellent run differential for the Sox as well. Tigers 85 wins, Brewers 500 record. The Jays just get in under the 100 loss mark. Twins not a good year either. Over here we've got the A's 7 games over the Royals, Angels above 500. And 7-3 in their last 10 to finish over 500, so that's cool. And National League East, we've got the Cardinals by a single game over the Pirates, and everybody else below 500 in the NL East. Cincinnati 100 win season, trying to say. 173 run diff, pretty good. Won 8 of their last 10. And that helped them to overcome the Dodgers by a 3-game margin. We've got the Braves with 87 wins, the Astros with 83, and the Padres with the worst record in the majors at 60 and 102. So let's take a look at the leaders here for season 6. We've got George Brett, 386. Again, using his 1980 season as the barometer there. So when he hit 390, so 386 certainly in the realm of possibility for Mr. Brett. Wade Boggs, 349. Here's Bert Campaneris as a fill-in with a 334 clip. Jim Rice, 332. Robin Yount, 330. Home run leaders, Ben Ogilvy, taking it with 52 jacks, ahead of teammate Jim Rice. And then we've got Gorman Thomas of the Brewers, Bobby Grich of the Orioles, and Reggie Jackson of the A's. RBIs, Jim Rice, 157, and Ogilvy, 149 for Boston. So no surprise to see Boston up there with the great run differential, of course. Brett with 128, Grich, and Cal Ripken. Rounding out the top 5. NL leaders, batting average, Tony Gwynn by a single point over Miguel Dion. Then we have Rudy Law. If memory serves, that might be his first appearance on the list here, with a 324 average for the Dodgers. Chili Davis, 324, and Mickey Rivers, 319. Mike Schmidt coming up a couple homers shy of 60 there. Commanding lead over Bob Horner with 44 at the launching pad. Got Dave Kingman, 32. Murphy, 32. Dale Murphy, that is. And Joel Youngblood with 32. That's a bit of a surprise, gotta say. RBIs, Hal McRae, 146, topping Schmidt at 142. Horner and Simmons, 122. Kingman, 119. AL pitching, Mike Norris, 205, and a 23 victory season. So, pretty stout campaign from Mr. Norris. Dave Stieb, 2.14. Vicente Romo, 222. Vida Blue, 243. Ron Guidry, 259er. John Curtis, kind of a surprise to 19 victories there. Don't think we've seen him on the list yet. There's Dave Beard again for the A's, 16 victories. Oil Can Boyd for the Sox, 15. And Saberhagen with 15. Save leader again, Dan Quisenberry, not a surprise there. Rich Gossage, 37. Sid Monge, Bob Stanley, Jesse Orosco. NL pitching leaders, Roy Lee Jackson, 2.5 for the Mets. Don Sutton, 253. Might be his first appearance, don't recall. Steve Rogers, I think we've seen before, 258. Mike Prowley and Steve Carlton. Ron Reed, 19 wins, ahead of Steve Rogers, Rick Honeycutt, Jay Howe, and Jim Barr. And NL saves, we've got a tie with Tom Miedenfuhr and Bruce Sutter, 40 apiece, ahead of Dale Murray, Tom Hume, and Gene Garber. Let's check out the leading vote getters for MVP and Cy Young in both leagues. Jim Rice with the, let's see, about 30 votes better than George Brett. Ben Ogilvy, Robin Yount, Cal Ripken all up there. AL Cy Young, Norris clearly dominated the voting in this particular year. John Curtis second. Dave Beard, Oil Can Boyd, Ron Guidry. NL MVP, Michael Jack Schmidt over Hal McRae, Tim Raines Sr., Ken Griffey Sr., Ted Simmons. And NL Cy Young, we've got Ron Reed taking the award over Steve Rogers, Jay Howe, Charles Hudson, Reggie Cleveland. All right, and let's go to our special events page. Reports, special events. Check for no hitters, 3 homer games, etc. I hope you're enjoying the trip through the early 80s here as much as I am. A lot of data to pull in here, so just have to be patient. There we go. Innings. Oh, 20 inning game. Not going to click into it, but that's always a little bit interesting. Let's scroll down a bit here. Team hits, team errors, left on base. Double plays. Oh, no, there. Triple plays. Scooted right past it. 5 triple plays. A little bit below average, I would say. Home runs. Chet Lemon, Alvin Davis, Dave Kingman, Wayne Gross, Jason Thompson, Chris Chambliss, Tim Wallach, Robin Yount, Jim Gantner, Chili Davis probably, and Nelson for the Mariners. Jamie Nelson, Ricky Nelson. We'd have to dive in there and look, but we're not doing that. And scoot down a little further here. Rudy Law steals 5 bags in one game. Cycles, 7 cycles. Okay, 5 in the park homers. K's 15, 17. McGaffigan throws a complete game. That's interesting. No-nos. Steve Carlton throws a no-hitter. Let's take a gander at this one here. We had a 0 hit, 0 run, 3 strikeouts, and 7 walks. Not really Carlton-esque, I would say, but got the job done as the Cardinals defeat the Pirates 4-0. And who did any damage for the Cardinals? Looks like Leon Durham. A couple RBIs at the bottom of the order there. And what kind of lineup did we face here? There's Carlton's line. Randolph, Howe, Oliver, Armas, Law, Berra, Parker, May, Dion. Well, not a bad lineup. Not too bad. So there's that. I think, yeah, we're not going to go further there. All right, so we're through 6 seasons. And let's pull up a different library. We'll pull up season 7 here, and I'm going to check our point total in a second. Okay. So our point total was Royals 4, Cardinals 1, Athletics 1, after 6 seasons anyway. So somebody would have to come storming back here with a couple, or pretty much 3 victories in the last 4 seasons here to push this particular replay beyond 10 seasons. Let's bring us into here. Season overview. Season 7. It's not a Royals. We got a Red Sox 94. Cardinals. And we have Dodgers 94. Red Sox and Dodgers each get a half point. So let's just take a look here. AL East. Red Sox 5 games over the Indians. Orioles did well. Brewers 500 baseball. Hey, the Jays up to 6th place there. Whoa, what happened? Mariners awful, 98 losses over there. Royals by a single game over the Twins. The Angels above 500. A's below 500, which is a little bit of a shock. But that's why we do the replays multiple times, right? Any team could have a fluke season, you know, finish 5-10 games above their pay grade, I guess. Cardinals 6 games ahead of the Phillies. Expos 500 ball. And over here we have the Dodgers by a single game over the Reds, but that did give the Dodgers a half point in our totals. The Giants did pretty well, and Braves not so good. Sorry for the yapping dog there. Let's get back to this. Padres 103 loss season. All right. Let's go with the American League batting leaders. George Brett 380, no surprise. Don Mattingly 356, no surprise there. Willie Wilson 328, Wade Boggs 327, and here's a surprise: Joe LaFever 324 batting average for the New York Yankees. AL batting home run leaders: Ben Ogilvy 47, Hector Cruz another shocker with 42. Jason D. Thompson 36 for the Tigers, might be his first appearance here. Brian Downing, don't remember seeing him earlier, so Thompson and Downing making the leaderboards. Downing with 34 round trippers for the White Sox, and 34 for Jim Rice. Brett atop the leaderboard in RBIs with 130, followed by Ogilvy, Rice, Ripken, and Harold Baines with 119. That might be his first appearance here too. All right, NL batting, we've got Tony Gwynn 372, that's more like it. Mickey Rivers 363. Miguel Dion, Gene Richards, and Hal McRae. Might have seen Richards once before, don't remember now. So let's see. Home run leaders, Schmitty with 50, George Foster 42, Kingman with 40, Baker with 39, and Jack Clark with 38. RBIs, Hal McRae again, 138 over Schmidt, Simmons, Foster, and Jack Clark. AL pitching. All right, so we got Frank Sweet Music Viola, 2.55 ERA. Taking the title over Mike Norris, Tom Houseman, 2.70 ERA for the Brew Crew. Dave Stieb, 270. Moose Haas, 276. AL pitching, we've got Dennis Leonard and Frank Viola tied with 17 victories. Pete Vilson of the Yankees with 16. Tommy Boggs of the Rangers with 15. Tied with teammate Danny Darwin. Tippy Martinez, 47 saves. Topping the leaderboards here. Quisenberry, 44. Bob Stanley, 42. Sid Monge, 38. Frank DePino of the Brewers, 36. And over in the National League, we've got Steve Bedrosian with a 2.16 ERA for the Braves, leading the league over Steve Rogers. Bruce Keeson making an appearance here with a 2.72. Jay Howell, Joe Negro. Mario Soto, 18 victories, leads the circuit. Roy Lee Jackson, strong with 16 for the Mets. Reggie Cleveland again for the Cardinals. Rob Dressler of the Giants, that's a new one, 15. Tom Underwood also with 15. Don't remember seeing him before. Underwood of the Phillies. Tom Niedenfuer, 44 saves for the Dodgers over Bruce Sutter by 2. And then Tug McGraw, Willie Hernandez, and Dan Spillner, rounding out the top 5 there. AL MVP, George Brett over Jim Rice. We have Ben Ogilvy, Harold Baines, Jason D. Thompson. And over in the AL Cy Young voting, we have Frank Viola over Dennis Leonard, Louis Tiant, Rich Gale, and Tommy Boggs. NL MVP, we've got McRae by a single vote over Mike Schmidt. George Foster, Ted Simmons, Andre Dawson. NL Cy Young, Soto, Roy Lee Jackson, Reggie Cleveland, Mike Proley, and Tom Underwood. Let's take a look at our special events for Season 7. We'll click into this here. There we go. Give that a moment to crank up. And let's see. So if anybody's going to challenge the Royals with their 4 points, they're going to have to win 3 straight seasons, I think. And they would already have to have 1 point. So that would be, I think I said the A's and the Cardinals had a point each. So everybody else is out of contention. So looking pretty good for KC, even though the last few seasons they've not finished in the at the top of the win column for the overall record, but still the commanding lead at this moment. All right, special events. Let's scroll down a ways. Errors, left on base, a lot of left on bases, double plays, triple plays, a good number of triple plays here. It looks like at least 10 or so. Inside the park home run and a triple play in the same game. That's interesting. Home runs. Mike Jorgensen, 3 homers. That is a rare event, I would say. Ben Ogilvy, Ted Simmons, Stone, complete game. Foster hits 3 homers. Okay. Say, Simmons. Gonna go with Bo Diaz there for Boston. Dickie Thon and Hal McRae. Hits. Oster, 6 hits. Rivers, 6 hits. All right, keep going here. Runs scored. Steals, errors, cycle. 1, 2, 3, 5 guys hitting for the cycle. 5 inside the park home runs. Ks, 13, 14, 14, 12, 14. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. Complete games, and I'm guessing no hitters. All right, so we're gonna skip ahead to season 8 then. Here, season 8, restore, overwrite, okay. And the winner is envelope, please. And if it's not A's Cardinals, then the Royals have clinched it, but we still play our 10 seasons out anyway. But just for curiosity. Season overview. Oh, Oakland. That would be 2 points for Oakland, so they're still alive technically. Let's look over here. We had a tie for first in the American League East with the Sox and the Yankees. Orioles 90 victories, Indians 88, so a pretty tight race there in the East. The Orioles 121 run differential. Over here in the West, the A's were the clear winners over the Royals by 9 games. Pretty good run differential for both clubs there. Twins and Rangers finishing above 500. Down in the NL East, we've got a 1-game margin with the Phillies edging the Mets. The Mets lost their last 2. So, the Pirates, 86 wins. Good year for them. Expos and Cardinals, 81. So everybody did well here except for the Cubbies, who managed to lose 103, but that was not the worst in the majors. That distinction belongs to the Jays in this particular season with their 104 losses. The NL West, we've got the Dodgers by 6 games over the Braves and the Reds. Astros with 83, and the other 2 clubs below 500. So let's look at the batting leaders here. We've got Don Mattingly taking the batting title with 374, only 2 points ahead of George Brett. Cal Ripken at 358, Yount 337, Willie Upshaw 328. That might be his first appearance on the leaderboards here. I've got a tie for the home run lead with Bobby Grich and John Lowenstein. Willie Upshaw 42, so he had a pretty good year and 132 ribbies. Doug DeCinces 39 dingers along with Pedro Guerrero. RBI leaders, Cal Ripken over Upshaw. Ripken with almost just one shy of 150 there. DeCinces third, tied with Lowenstein. And Pedro Guerrero with 121, rounding out the top 5. And we've got National League leaders, Tony Gwynn Sr., batting title, 353 over Al Oliver of the Pirates at 347. We had Pete Rose Sr., 331, Jose Cruz, 327, and Mickey Rivers, 325. Home run leaders in the NL, Tony Armas, tied with Mike Schmidt with 47. Armas, the clear RBI leader this year with 154. Back to home runs, we have Kittle for the Dodgers with 40. Murphy with 35, Horner with 34 for the Braves. And then, as we said, Armas ahead of Schmidt, Horner, Kevin McReynolds, and Al Oliver. AL pitching, Tommy Boggs, 232. Steve McCatty, 244. Chris Welsh of the Yankees, 277. Kurt Young, 281. Mark Gubicza, 282. Wins, Rick Lysander, making another appearance with 19 wins over Dave Beard's 18. Mark Gubicza's 17. Saberhagen 17, Tommy John 16. Saves, we have Bob Stanley 47, Raleigh Fingers, Ed Farmer, Tippy Martinez, Dave Righetti. NL pitching, Jay Tibbs with the ERA crown at 231. Bob Welch, 258. Larry Christensen, Charlie Huff, Pascal Perez. We've got Perez leading the league with 18 victories over Dave Dravecky of the Pirates, Ron Reed, Larry Christensen, and Royley Jackson. Save leader, Tug McGraw with 42. Willie Hernandez, Tom Hume, Bruce Sutter, Dale Murray. AL MVP goes to Cal Ripken over teammate Doug DeCinces. Then we have Yount, Guerrero, and Willie Upshaw there. AL Cy Young, Mark Gubicza, slight lead over Rick Lysander. Brett Saberhagen, Tommy John, Tommy Boggs. NL MVP goes to Michael Jack Schmidt over Tony Armas, Al Oliver, Darryl Strawberry, and Dale Murphy. And the NL Cy Young goes to Pascal Perez, 20 votes ahead of Dave Dravecky. And then we have Royley Jackson, Larry Christensen, Bob Welch rounding out the top 5 there. Let's look at our special events for Season 8. And here we go. Special events. Give us a moment here. See if we had anything of interest, of great interest anyway. I'm sure some of these are a bit interesting, but we're not. We could spend days clicking in all of these box scores, and I know this video is going to be long enough. I don't think you would sit through, hours and hours and hours of as interesting as some of these box scores are to me, and potentially a few of you folks. Yeah. But we'll try to pick and choose a couple more. Maybe there's a no-hitter here or there, or something else that, a 4-homer game. Scroll down a bit. Left on base, runners on base, double plays, triple plays. We got about a dozen there, I'd say. Homers. Hector Cruz, Wayne Gross, Carter. Gonna say Joe Carter of the Cubs. Lee Mazzilli, Dave Hostetler, Jim Rice, Tony Armas, Cal Ripken, Jim Rice. 6-8, 7-hit game. Wow, a couple 7-hit games. McGee and Ray Knight. 6-8, 7-hit game is pretty interesting. We're gonna check those out real quick here. It also says the Yankees had 27 hits in the game. And it went 13 innings, but 7 for 8 for Willie McGee, 5 hits by Joe Lefevre. McGee had a double. He had a homer. And I guess the rest were singles. And this was against the A's. Glenn Abbott gave up 14 hits. There's Dave Beard, Bob Lacey, Rich Bordy, Keith Atherton. All right. So, and what was the other 7-hitter? Ray Knight. Let's check that out. Only a 4-3 game. Oh, the game lasted 19 innings. Okay, well that helps to explain that a little bit here. Tony Armas 0 for 8. Just thought I'd point that out. Here he is, Ray Knight, 7 for 9. And that only brings the average up to 254. But he did triple, and the rest were singles. Wow, 6 singles. This was off of mostly Dravecky and Gene Garber, it looks like. So a couple of 7-hit games. That's cool. All right. Go a little bit further down here. Stolen bases. Bunch of guys stealing 3 bags. I didn't see anything higher. 3 cycles. A lot of in the park homers this time around. K's 14 looks like tops. No hitters, 2 of them. Tibbs and McGregor, it looks like. Yankees defeat the Tigers. Upshaw homer. Tigers no hit. I'm going to say that's a pretty stout lineup for Detroit. And McGregor, no hits, 3 walks, 4 Ks. Okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with that lineup. So, Jay Tibbs, no hitter for the Mets. 9-0 over the Cubbies. And this was a mid-September game. So, Mets 9 runs on 10 hits. Jorgensen homered. See this lineup here. Yeah, not a great lineup. Sorry to say. I mean, still counts. 3 walks, 6 Ks. But not a very impressive lineup there for the Cubbies. All right, so that's our no-hitters. So we're through 8 seasons now. Let's back out of here. Library. Season 9er coming up. Season overview. Okay, season number 9. Do we have, we have Oakland. No, we don't. We have the Dodgers. So KC is definitely going to be the winner here based on points. The Dodgers do get they get a full point here. I think they had a half point earlier. So the Dodgers with 100 wins takes this particular season. Let's take a quick look here. AL East, we've got the Indians on top. That's new, I would say. Over the Orioles by 5 games. Yeah. So the Sox and the Yankees below 500. Brewers and Tigers did pretty well there. Over in the AL West, we've got the Oakland Athletics by 4 games over the Chicago White Sox. 6 games over the Royals, and the Twins also barely finishing 500 here. Mariners losing 105 games. And a negative 245 run differential. That's pretty sad. NL East. Expos bubble up to the top. Take the division by 2 games over the Cardinals and the Pirates. And 5 games ahead of the Phillies. And the Mets dropped 20 games back. Cubbies 107 losses. Well, enough said about that. Dodgers 100 wins, 10 games over the Reds. Astros and the Braves barely playing 500 ball here. All right, batting leaders. We've got Brett 336, so that's a pretty low. Seems like it was more of a pitcher's season this particular turn. Lou Whitaker makes an appearance here at 326. Harold Baines 324. Ron Hassey, I think that might be his first time up here at 323. And Willie Wilson 323. Bobby Grich, home run crown 47. Reggie, Lowenstein, Baines, and Downing. RBIs, we've got Brett over Grich by 2. Then we have Reggie, George Hendrick, and Harold Baines. NL leaders, Al Oliver 346 over Miguel Dion. Ken Oberkfell 342. Jack Perconte, and Tony Gwynn Sr. Mike Schmidt 51 dingers. Ron Kittle 41. George Foster, Tony Armas, Gary Carter. Kittle leading the league with 137 ribbies, 10 better than Schmidt. Then we got Simba, Ted Simmons, Al McRae, Tony Armas. AL pitching leaders, Enrique Romo with a 1.46. Chico Escarrega, 243. Vicente Romo, 249. I could be mistaken, but I believe all of these 3 pitched at one time in the Mexican League. So that's an interesting little grouping here. That's cool. Danny Darwin, 252. Mike Norris, 254. Mike Norris and Vicente Romo with 20 victories. Tom Houseman with 18. Dave Beard, Rich Gale. Dave Tobick with 46 saves. That's a new one. Quisenberry, Gossage, Tippy, Martinez, Jesse Orosco there. ERA leaders for the National League. Oral Hershiser, 2.29. Ron Reed, Eric Schau, Joe Niekro, Steve Rogers. Rick Langford with 21 victories for the Pirates. He's topping his teammate Bruce Keeson with 19. Then we got Hershiser, Jay Howell, Ron Reed. Tie atop the save leaderboards with Tom Hume and Dale Murray at 38 apiece, followed by Gene Garber, Willie Hernandez, Tug McGraw. And our voting is as follows. George Brett over Bobby Grich, Harold Baines, Willie Wilson, and Reggie Jackson. And the AL Cy Young vote goes to Mike Norris by 20 votes over Vicente Romo. And then we've got Tom Houseman, Dave Beard, Rich Gale. NL MVP, we've got Mike Schmidt over Dale Murphy, Tim Raines Sr., The Rock. Then we have Ron Kittle and Gary Kid Carter. NL Cy Young votes, Rick Langford over Oral Hershiser by 10, Bruce Keeson, Charles Hudson, Ron Reed. And let's go to our special events page. Okay, reports. And this is going to be season 9 special events, so we are creeping up on the end here, but slowly but surely. breathless with anticipation as we get to the Season 9 special events. Hope you're all enjoying the, the different leaders that are popping up here, and the little twist that I have on everything with the original, putting the original players, or putting players on their original teams, I guess. So a lot of the fun for me is just assembling the rosters and seeing who started out. I learn a lot of stuff as to who started on what teams, and a lot of times it's like, oh, I didn't realize he was on that team to begin with, or you start looking at the transactions and seeing who they got traded for, or what round they were drafted in, and all that. So you can kind of go down a rabbit hole, but it's a lot of fun for me, and hopefully for you as well. Let's go a little further. Triple plays. We've got 7 triple plays. Home runs, not too many. 3 homer games. Got Grich, Downing, Hebner, Hernandez, fill-in Hernandez. I'd have to see who that is. Green, David Green, I'm guessing. Johnson of the Astros, probably Cliff, right? So, and I could click in there and see who it is, but we're just in the interest of time, we're not going to do that. Hits. Bain's got 6 hits. Richard's got 6 hits. We're going to skip that. Stolen bases, we're going to skip past. I do see a 4 steal, a couple of 4 steal games here. Bumbry, Rains, 5 cycles, twice by Hassey. That's kind of interesting there. Inside the Parkers, we got 7 strikeout games. Anything of interest here? 14, 13, 12, 15 by Doc Gooden. Let's see here. No hitter by McLaughlin for the Expos. Let's take a look at this. Over the Mets, Byron McLaughlin. 6 walks, 8 Ks. Box score, please. What do we got here? Gary Carter knocked in a couple of runs. Let's look at the Mets lineup here. Decent. Wouldn't say great. Wouldn't say awful. There's definitely some bats in that lineup that you got to work around. And Byron McLaughlin gets a mention here, so good for him. All right, so let's bail out of here, and we will move on to Season 10. Okay. Different library. Restore. Okay, coming right up. Season 10. All right, so let's take a look at the final season here.
any surprises. And what do we got? It looks like the Cardinals pulled it out. Yep, season 10 there. Cardinals, 97 wins. Let's see, in the East, we got the Tigers, 4 games ahead of the Indians and the Orioles, 6 up on the Red Sox. Jays with 104 losses and a minus 332 run diff. That's pretty bad. Tie in the AL West, Royals and A's, 90 wins apiece. Angels, 86, 4 games back. And the White Sox with 82 wins, 8 games out. The Angels 1-9 tanked at the end. So if they had gone 5-5, they would have pulled into a 3-way tie, and if they had gone 6-4 in their last 10, they would have won the division. So close. NL East. Scroll too far there. Sorry. We've got the Cardinals by 9 over the Expos, and the Phillies above 500. And the Cubbies actually lost more than the Jays here, but the losingest team was the Padres at 43 and 119. Ouch, minus 346 run differential. Lost 15 in a row to end the season. That is pitiful. Another tie. Reds and the Dodgers, 95 wins apiece. Astros 91, solid. Braves 89 wins. Let's see what we got here. AL batting, George Brett, 368 over Boggs, Wilson, Baines, Deion James sneaking in here with a 326. Pretty sure that's his first appearance on the list. Home runs, Gorman Thomas, 48. Reggie and Lance Parrish, 39. Kirk Gibson, 38. Ogilvy, 38. RBI lead, Brett, 2 better than Gibson and Guerrero. Harold Baines and Lance Parrish rounding out the top 5. Over in the NL, Chili Davis taking a crack at the batting title with a 349. Mickey Rivers second, Tony Gwynn, Miguel Dion, and Dave Winfield. Home run leaders, Mike Schmidt, 65. Pretty impressive. Ron Kittle, 48. Johnny Bench, 35. George Foster, Chili Davis. RBI leaders, Mike Schmidt, 155. 25 ahead of Dave Kingman and Dave Winfield with 130. Ron Kittle, George Foster. AL pitching, we've got Enrique Romo making another appearance here with a 253. Tom Hausman again. Paul Splittorff, Mike Smithson, Mike Boddicker. I think these 3 might be new to the list. Dave Beard, another strong season, 19 wins. Paul Splittorff, Pete Vukovich, Dick Drago, and Moose Haas. Righetti for the Rangers, 41 saves. Bob Stanley, Tippy Martinez, Frank DiPino, Jesse Orosco, top 5 in saves. NL pitching, we've got Jeff Heathcock again, 137. So those kind of middle reliever guys sneaking in here quite a bit. Beard, Heathcock. I've seen a couple others. Romo. Rick Mailer, 233. Joaquin Andujar, the same. J.R. Richard, 234. Joe Price, 238. NL wins leaders. Ron Reed of the Braves, 19, outpacing Steve Carlton, Pascal Perez, Doyle Alexander, Reggie Cleveland. Save leaders, we've got Niedenfuhr with 40 for the Dodgers, Rick Camp, Tom Hume, Tug McGraw all with 36, and Gene Garber with 33. MVP and Cy Young, we've got Brett, 2 votes over Kirk Gibson. Willie Wilson, Pedro Guerrero, Lance Parrish. And AL Cy Young, Splittorff takes it with 250 votes over Pete Vukovich, Dave Beard, Dick Drago, Moose Haas. NL MVP, Mike Schmidt, dominated that one, 452 votes over Kittle, McRae, Leon Durham, George A. Bell. And the NL Cy Young goes to Ron Reed, 240 votes over Carlton, Doyle Alexander, Reggie Cleveland, John Denny. All right, let's sneak a peek at the special events, and then we'll look at the encyclopedia for the overall season, or overall results, reports, special events. So for the overall standings, Kansas City claims victory with 4 points in the 10 seasons. The Athletics and the Cardinals, 2 wins apiece. And who else do we have here? We've got the Dodgers with 1.5 and the Red Sox with a 0.5 point. Okay. Give this a second to pull up everything here. Okay, here we go. Let's scroll down a bit. Errors, left on base, double plays, triple plays. Oh, a lot of triple plays. Oh my goodness. That is nearly 20, looks like. Home runs. Anything special here? Singleton, Fisk, Carter, 4 homers for the Cubs. We'll take a look at that. Everybody else here with 3, it looks like. Hernandez, Barfield, Aiken, Zisk, Champ Summers. Walker for the Reds, Dwayne Walker. Kirk Gibson. All right, let's pull up the Carter 4-homer game here. The Cubs actually lost that game 7-6. That's probably a rarity to have a 4-homer game and a loss. 4 for 4, 6 RBIs. And these came against Shane Rawley, 3 off of Rawley and 1 off of Tom Gorman, but the Expos prevailed. Let's look at the scorecard for the Cubs. Carter, homer, 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 homer. That's pretty cool, but they still lost. A couple of 6-hit games for Oliver, Spike Owen, and Don Mattingly. There's the high RBI games, runs scored, stolen bases. Molitor with 4 steals, Mookie Wilson 4 steals. Willie Wilson 4 steals, Tim Raine Sr. 4 steals. All right, cycles, Mosby, Samwell, Summers, Castino. Sorry, Summers hit 3 homers. Fred Lynn hit for the cycle. In the park homers, quite a few of them here. Let's skip through that. K's, Gooden with 15. That looks like the high mark. 3 no-hitters. Mike Witt, Dave Rozema, Dave Beard. Let's take a look here. Mike Witt. Which is interesting because he pitched a perfect game in '84, so this is kind of cool. 10 strikeout game, 5 walks. And Dave Chalk knocking in 4 runs there with a homer, his first of the year. And Dickie Thon with a homer. And he no-hit the Tigers, which is a pretty impressive feat considering that lineup there. Whitaker, Trammell, Thompson, Gibson, Parrish, Kemp, Peters, LaFleur, Brookins. Pretty good lineup. Witt gave up 2 unearned runs. Got the victory. 10 Ks. Okay. 150 pitches thrown. Wow. All right. Let's see here. Dave Rozema no-hits the Blue Jays. The Jays were not a good team in this. And you can see the number of fill-ins they had here. This is also one of those instances where 80-84 also covers the 77, 78, and 79 Jays. There are really not too many players to pick from there, so I added them to this team also because they came up a little short on players, but I don't see any of them here, but there might be a handful of guys from that time frame. Same with the Mariners, and I also did that with the other expansion teams. So, like the 69 clubs would appear on the 70-74 time frame, and the expansion 61 and 62 teams are on the 65-69 rosters. Okay, so the Jays, of the players that are actually original Jays, it was only Lloyd Mosby, Danny Ainge, and Andre Robertson in the lineup. The rest are fill-ins designated by the plus sign at the end of their last names. It's still a no-hitter nonetheless. So Rozema, only 1 K, 3 walks, gets the no-no. This was at Tiger Stadium. And defeated Charlie Puleo, who falls to 2-11 there. Not so hot. Gibson 3 for 3, 2 homers, providing the offense. All right, let's look at Dave Beard's no-hitter over the Brewers. So Dwayne Murphy homered, Claudell Washington homer. And for the Brewers, pretty good lineup. Molitor, Gantner, Yount, Thomas, Porter, Lezcano, Green, James, and Charlie Moore. Dave Beard goes to 15-12 here with a no-no, 1 walk, 9 Ks. And defeats Jaime Kokenauer. All right, so that's that for season 10. And let's look at encyclopedia reports. Let's just check out, let's see, the franchise standings overall, as we've seen the awards as we're going along. So the Royals, I wouldn't say dominant over the rest of the league here, but definitely in front of the A's in their own division. So if we're looking at the playoffs here, it's going to be Royals. The A's won't make it because it's just the divisional winners. So it's going to be Royals in the West against the Red Sox, it looks like. Would be the best team in the East. Cardinals, best team in the NL East. Reds, by 1 game over the Dodgers, will take the NL West crown. So that'll be our playoffs. Still counting the Royals. No matter what happens, the playoffs are just for fun. but I will post those videos. So scroll down to the bottom here, and the Padres averaging 100 losses per year because we had 10 seasons, so it's pretty easy to figure those numbers out. And the Royals would have been almost 97 wins per year, so definitely pretty convincing victory by the Royals. I'm not going to look at these. Yeah, let's look at the career leaders. I might have to adjust the options here. Let's see. Yeah, I've got to bump the plate appearances up. I usually do 3,000 and 1,000 for that. Okay, so overall leaders for 1980 through 84, we've got George Brett with a 371 combined average over those 10 seasons. Tony Gwynn, 349. Miguel Dion, 341. Wade Boggs, 336. Don Mattingly, 335. On base, George Brett. I'm not going to go through all of these, but we'll scroll through this a little bit. Brett, 628 slug. And obviously the OPS leader is Brett as well. John Lowenstein getting in there. Yeah, we're not going to bother with runners in scoring position, bases loaded, and so forth. Home run leader Schmidt, 467, so that would be 46, 47 per season. Grich averaging 40 a year in the 81 strike shortened campaign. He gets to extrapolate his 22 homers, which tied for the league lead there. Ogilvy, Kittle, and Phelps. Dewey Evans leading the league in runs. RBIs, Tony Armas, barely over Schmitty and Brett, all averaging above 120 ribbies. Grich, if you want to round up, 120 as well. McRae, 119. Steals leaders, Raines, so that would be about 61 a year. Wilson, Henderson, Dion, LaFleur. Hit leaders, so Gwynn averaging 242 hits per year. Dion, Rivers, Boggs, and Carew. Strikeouts, Kittle. Doubles, Frank White. Triples, Lloyd Mosby. Walks, Willie Randolph, 126 walks per year. Intentional, sack hits, sack flies, and errors. Okay. How about pitching? We've got career leaders in pitching. Okay, Doc Gooden, 2.6. Vern Rule, 280. Mike Norris, Doug Corbett, and Len Barker. Okay, innings, Ron Reed in the workhorse there for the Braves. Win leaders, Ron Reed again. Okay, saves, Bob Stanley, almost 39 saves per year. Quisenberry, we saw most of these guys up in the leaderboards most of those seasons. Strikeouts, Danny Darwin, this is a bit surprising here. Jay Howe, Steve Carlton, I would have expected up here. Langston. Home runs allowed, Matt E. Williams. Okay, give him a mention there. Not for a great category to be in, but there you go. Doc Gooden, fewest hits allowed, most Ks per 9, and fewest walks per 9, Lamar Hoyt. All right, folks, I think we're going to wrap it there. Yeah, so that'll take care of the 1980 through 84 originals. season replays. So hope you enjoyed this. Keep playing ball, and we'll see you soon. Take care.